Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind. So I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Okay. So first of all, welcome to the session. And so how is your preparation going on? Good evening. Good evening. So there is one thing like last day we have been discussing about the SEO summit. We have discussed about some of the other topics like we have seen topics with respect to the Chandrayaan 3 also. We have talked about Collegium system also. Then we have talked about the earthquake in Afghanistan, Raman Magsaysay Award. So these were the topics which we have discussed in the previous session. Okay. Now, in today's session, the topics which we are going to discuss, let me give you the name of the topics first. The topics which we are going to discuss in today's session, the first one is about semiconductor market. The first topic which we are going to discuss is from like a portion of economy plus science tech, economy plus science and tech, that is semiconductor industry in India. Okay. Semiconductor industry in India. Second thing, we are going to talk about one thing from polity, that is women in judiciary. Although we have discussed about the judicial collegium system last day, we have discussed about collegium system. So in that context itself, we are going to talk about women in judiciary. Then we are going to talk about this one from health section, that is sickle cell anemia. Then we are going to talk about the suicide cases. It is also part of your health. Okay. So this is also one topic which we are going to discuss. And then we will be talking about Onam. Okay. There is one question, GS की classes कब से शुरू होंगी हिंदी medium? I think if you have been seeing this, like from 26th of September, the classes are going to start, Pinky. So just go to the website, there you will find the option for it. Okay. Now, this is your first class, so welcome. Here we discuss daily current affairs. I am Kinshuk and this is Khan Global Studies. So welcome. Okay. Now, there is one more information for all of you. Okay. There is one more information for all of you, that is about the scholarship test. There is one information about all of about this scholarship test. Okay. So KGS is going to organize this scholarship test on 20th of September. We are going to have one such scholarship test on 20th of September, and this is going to be there in offline mode. It is going to be there in offline mode. It is going to be of GS also and CSET also. Like for GS also and CSET also, there is going to be test. The timing is shown here. This test is going to be conducted on 20th September in an offline and bilingual mode. Okay. So this scholarship test, if you are there in the top 100, if you are there in the top 100 in this test, you will get 50% off on the UPSC prelims test series. But this is one part. There is another very important part. You are also going to get a free online mentorship. If you are there in the top 100, you are also going to get this free online mentorship for your preparation. So that is also a very important part. And see, the centers where it is going to be conducted, it is going to be there in Karol Bagh and Mukherjee Nagar. Then we have in Dehradun also. Then in Patna, in Musallapur and Boring Road, and also in Prayagraj. So at all these offline centers of Khan Global Studies, you will have this offline test on 20th of September. On 20th September. The registration is open till 19th of September, but you can do it as early as possible. So this is open for all, free scholarship test. They can register there. And how you can register? You can scan this QR code. Okay. You can scan this QR code, or let me show you the link also here. Okay. The link is simply khanglobalstudies.com/open test. Okay. So let me write this for you. khanglobalstudies.com/open test. So this is the link. This is the link. So when you go here, khanglobalstudies.com/open test, you will find that there is the option of UPSC scholarship test, GS and CSAT. So you have to register for both of them. You can just click on register. You have to give these basic details, name, email address, phone number, and then you have to choose also that at which center you want to enroll. So just by like filling the basic details, you can register yourself for the examination. So if you want to appear in the exam, you have to register first. For all these centers, the registration are already there, so you can register here. Okay. So for English as well as Hindi medium, this is going to be an offline scholarship test for both this English medium students as well as Hindi medium students. So that is one information for all of you. Okay. I hope that's clear. Prince, right now it is there in offline mode at these centers only. Okay. Now, let's solve some questions now on the basis of our previous classes. So here we are having our questions. India, China and Russia are founding members of SCO. The regional anti-terrorist structure of SCO has been formed to tackle terrorism after Pahalgam attack. Iran and Pakistan are members of SCO. So how many statements are correct? How many statements given above are correct? A option. Yes. If we look at this, yes, correct. India, China and Russia. If we see, India is not a founding member. India had joined later. So India is not a founding member of SCO. Regional anti-terrorist structure has not been formed after Pahalgam attack. It is one of the permanent structure of SCO from the beginning. Okay. So it is not formed after Pahalgam attack. This has been there for quite long time. Okay. Iran and Pakistan are members of SCO. That is correct. So answer here will be option number A. Okay. The recommendation of collegium system is not required for appointment of judges to Supreme Court, transfer of High Court judges, removal or impeachment of judges. SCOH, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai Corporation Organization. Shanghai Cooperation. You have written corporation. Shanghai Cooperation. It is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So what will be the answer here? Question number 2. The recommendation of collegium system is not required for appointment of judges to Supreme Court, transfer of High Court judges, and removal or impeachment of judges. Okay. So see, yes, it is required for appointment. It is required for transfer of High Court judges. It is not required for this one. Okay. So what we see, it is asking not required for. So answer here will be option number A. That is only one. Now, if a spacecraft of more than 2000 kg has to be put in low Earth orbit Which one of the following will be the preferred choice in India? If a space satellite, sorry, space, not a spacecraft, if a satellite of more than 2000 kg has to be put in low Earth orbit, which one of the following will be preferred choice in India? First one is PSLV, GSLV, NGLV, SSLV. So question number 3. A option, B option. Okay. So here if we look at this, see, SSLV, it is only up to 500 kg, so not an option. NGLV, not developed yet. It has not been developed yet. Okay. PSLV up to 1800 kg in low Earth orbit. Okay. So of course the preferred option will be GSLV. Okay. So it is having capacity up to 10,000 kg in low Earth orbit and 4,000 kg in geotransfer orbit. So here the answer will be option number B, GSLV. Assertion: most of the earthquakes in India occur in the Himalayan region. All mountains are prone to earthquakes. Both A and R are true. R is the correct explanation. Sorry, this image has to be removed. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation. Not the correct explanation. And A is true, but R is false. A is false, but R is true. So this is question number 4. So what will be the answer? Question number 4. Yes, you guys are quite intelligent. Okay. You are very intelligent. That is C. Okay. So region is not correct. Assertion is correct. Okay. Assertion is correct, but region is not correct. Hence the answer is option number C. Okay. So all mountains are not prone to earthquakes. You can see example of Aravalis. Aravalis are not prone. Okay. There are many such mountains which are not prone to the earthquakes. Okay. So here the answer is C option. So let's start with this one about the semiconductor market in India. Okay. So what we see that, just look at the statement that India is setting eye on 1 trillion semiconductor market. Okay. India is looking for a significant share in the semiconductor market in the world. Okay. So if we look at this, what is the global market? What is the global market value as of now? When we talk about this, what is the global market value as of now? Sorry. The global market value as of now stands at nearly $600 billion. This is the global market value of semiconductors. Right now, it is $600 billion. And in upcoming times, it is going to reach up to $1 trillion. So what is the India's position? What is position of India with respect to this global market as of now? Okay. So as of 2023, India's share is near about $34.3 billion. Okay. India's share is just about $34.3 billion. You can see that right now we are approximately we are approximately having 5% of the global market value. If we look at this, we are just having 5% of the global market value of this semiconductor industry. Okay. So the total industry is $600 billion. We are just at this $34.3 billion. Okay. However, what we see that in the future, there is a prediction that by 2032, with the current rate of growth, India's semiconductor market is going to reach up to $271.9 billion. This is a projection. This is a projection that India's semiconductor market is going to become $271.9 billion. Okay. So this is one part, one segment of it. Okay. One segment of it, that we are going to have more and more semiconductor in India. Okay. Now, this is one part. The question is, like, when we are talking about India, why lower participation? Why lower share as of now? Why we are having lower share, or why we are having lower participation in the semiconductor industry as of now? Can you tell me why we are not having a considerable share in the semiconductor industry as of now? Any idea why we are not having? Why we are not having a significant share in the semiconductor industry of the world? What is the challenge? Okay, one challenge is the supply of raw materials. Fine. Yes, the scarcity of raw material, that is one angle. Scarcity of raw material. The rare earth elements, that is one angle. Of course, there is one part, rare earth elements. In 2032, what will be the global market value? Bharat, like we can see the headline itself, that by 2030 itself, it is about to cross 1 trillion. It is about to cross 1 trillion. Means it will be more than 1000 billion. Okay. So one part is scarcity of raw material. Second part, infrastructural bottlenecks. Okay. Infrastructural challenges. Like this increase energy and all other things. This includes your energy access and other part. Okay. Then we see that there is also lack of fabrication units. Fabrication units. See, we are very much there in the designing process. In the semiconductor industry, we are there in the designing process, but we are not in the fabrication part, the manufacturing part. The lack of fab units is also there. Okay. Then we see that there is also one thing, the lack of manpower. Okay. Lack of skilled manpower. Lack of skilled manpower. Now see here, there is a very interesting part. We have one of the highest number. We have one of the highest number of graduates in STEM field, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Okay. So we have one of the highest numbers of graduates in the STEM field. But most of them, those who are related to even semiconductors, they are in the design section. They can design semiconductors, but when it comes to the fabrication part, when it comes to the actual manufacturing part, that is where we are lacking. Okay. So here, that is one thing, especially in fab units. Fab units. And then yes, of course, lack of policy support, lack of initial policy support. Now we have got an increased focus on semiconductor industry in the recent times. We have got a focus on semiconductor in the recent times, but for a long period of time, when India should have focused on semiconductor industry, we have not given that much attention. So due to all these factors, semiconductor industry has remained on the back seat in India. So this is one part. If we look at this one thing, how much export and import we are having, you can see this one figure. Like if we talk about $1 billion, our import is up to $4.55 billion. Okay. And our export is only of $0.52 billion. Okay. So our export is quite higher as compared to our import. So our import right now is quite lower. Okay. Our export is quite lower, import is quite higher. For almost 90% of our requirement, we depend on the imports. Okay. So that is one of the challenge. And see, we are having one of the highest number of STEM graduates. Of course, we are not comparing with China, but as compared to US, UK, France, Germany, Canada, Israel, we are having enormous number of STEM field graduates. Okay. So this is one part with respect to India's semiconductor industry. Okay. So we have seen why we have not grown. Government has come with Semicon India program. Government has come with Indian Semiconductor Mission also. We have got the Semiconductor Mission of India also, Semicon program also. Semicon many such what you can say hackathons have been organized also. So in the recent times, there has been a push. There is also production linked incentive, design linked incentive scheme. So many such schemes are running for the semiconductor industry right now. Okay. So that's why India is trying to have, or India is looking at a higher share in this semiconductor market. So right now we are having a very small share. We are having a very small share, but maybe in the future we will have considerable one. Okay. So this is first part. Most of them have only degrees, not knowledge. No comments on that part. Okay. No comments on that part. So they have not been trained perhaps on that manner. Now, coming to the second article, women in judiciary. Okay. We are coming to this article, women in judiciary. So there are certain facts which we have to see first. Can you tell me right now how many women judges are there in Supreme Court? First question, how many judges are there in Supreme Court? How many judges are there in Supreme Court? Second, how many women judges are there in Supreme Court as of now? One. Okay. How many judges are there in Supreme Court? So there is 34 CGI plus 33. So right now when we talk about Supreme Court, what we see that we have 33 plus 1 CGI. So it means in total we have got 34 judges. If we talk about women, what we see that 1 out of 34. 1 out of 34. So right now we see that there is only one women judge in Supreme Court. At the same time, even in the high courts, the representation of women is less than 15%. It is also less than 15% in case of high courts. At the level of district, the participation of women is more than 1/3. But in high court and Supreme Court, their number is quite on lower side. Okay. Till now, what we see that only 11 judges, only 11 women judges so far. We have got only 11 women judges so far in the Indian history. Out of the 287 judges who have been appointed in India, only 11 have been women. Okay. So out of 287 judges, those who are there in Supreme Court, till now there have been 287 judges of Supreme Court. Among them, only 11 have been women. Then what we see that no Chief Justice till date, no woman at CJI till date. Means as of today also, there is no such, like Justice B.V. Nagaratna. She is going to be the first women CJI of India. Okay. So what we see that Justice B.V. she will be the first women CJI. So she is going to become the Chief Justice of India in September 2027. Okay. So her tenure is going to be 24/9/2027. From 24th September 2027 to 29th October 2027. So that is 36 days. So she will have a tenure as Chief Justice of India for just a period of 36 days. So even though she is going to become the Chief Justice of India, she would be for just 36 days. Fatima Bibi was a judge of Supreme Court, the first women judge of Supreme Court. The first women judge of Supreme Court. But here, Chief Justice of India. Here we are talking not about like simply judge of Supreme Court. There have been 11 women judges in Supreme Court. None of them have been Chief Justice of India. So Justice B.V. Nagaratna, she would be becoming the first Chief Justice of India, and she would have a tenure of just 36 days because she would be retiring after that. She would be retiring after that. So she would be having a tenure of only 36 days. Now, this is one side of the story. What we see that Supreme Court, it has given a direction. It has given a direction to what? Bar associations. I think you may be aware about bar associations. They are basically associations of judges. They are basically, association of lawyers. Association of lawyers. So Supreme Court has given a direction to the bar association that they must have 30% elected seats reserved for women. They are saying that 30% seats reserved for women. So Supreme Court is giving direction. Supreme Court is giving direction to the bar association that you must have 30% seats reserved for women. But in case of Indian history, there has been only one time in 2021 when there was a very high representation of women in Supreme Court, and that was in 2021 when 3 women judges were appointed and it came to 10%. So in 2021, 3 women judges were appointed to Supreme Court. At that time, the percentage of women in Supreme Court was 10%. Right now, you can see that 1 out of 34. Okay. So this is one part. What we see, Supreme Court has been giving direction to Bar Association that we must have more and more representation. Now, how these appointments are done? On what basis? What is the criteria? Of course, merit remains one criteria. Merit is one of the criteria. How many cases they have been able to solve, how much efficient they have been, how much error-free judgment is there. They are, of course, criteria. But there are certain criteria which are taken into consideration while appointing judges to the Supreme Court. So there are certain criteria. There are certain criteria which are kept in mind. One of them is the caste. Okay. One of them is religion. And one of them is region or regional representation. So these are considered, these 3 things are considered. Why? To bring diversity. To bring diversity. Although there has not been so much transparency in the working of collegium system, there has not been so much transparency in working of collegium system, but from time to time, it has been said that caste, religion and region, they are used for appointment of a person to Supreme Court. Okay. Like apart from merit, merit comes first, but as we are evaluating 100 candidates or let's say 10 candidates for 2 posts, there will be these factors also which are kept in mind to ensure diversity. So there is a proposal that along with these factors, there is a need to add gender also. There is a need to add gender also here. There is a need to add gender also as a criteria for appointment, because then after we can have more diversity. Okay. Then after we can have more diversity here in case of women in the case of Supreme Court. Okay. So this is one such editorial which was there, that why women are having lesser representation, or what is the representation of women, why it is on the lesser side. Okay. I hope that is clear. How many judges have been there? What is the criteria? So this is one part about women in judiciary. Now coming to the next article, the one which is related with sickle cell anemia. Okay. So first, tell me one thing. What is sickle cell anemia? And then we will discuss this editorial. First, tell me what is sickle cell anemia, and then we will come to this editorial, that what it is saying, what it is all about. The editorial here is not about what is sickle cell anemia. The editorial here is about something else. But first tell me, what is sickle cell anemia? Related to RBC, good. Change in the shape of blood cell, fine. Yes, correct. Yes, it is a genetic disorder, correct. It is a genetic disorder. हाँ, हाशिए की तरह होता है, बिल्कुल. It is sickle shaped, correct. So I think all of you may be aware about this sickle cell anemia. Okay. What we see that there is a problem in which the normal blood cell is getting converted in form of sickle cell. Okay. The form of the normal RBC changes to that of sickle cell. It changes to that of sickle cell. So this is a genetic disorder, and this is related to chromosome 11. Okay. This is related to chromosome number 11. Okay. The genes responsible for hemoglobin, are faulty. The HB genes are faulty, and as a result of that, we see that in this case there is sickle shaped RBC. Sickle shaped RBC. What we see that they are non-flexible. Okay. They cause obstruction in blood flow. Deficit of RBC, and it even leads to problem of anemia. It leads to the problem of anemia. So that is one thing which we know about this sickle cell anemia. Okay. That sickle cell RBC are there, and due to which there is obstruction in the blood flow. There is like a deficit of healthy RBC, and as a result there is problem of anemia. Okay. As a problem, there is the problem of anemia. So now the thing is, what is the editorial all about? What is this editorial saying? Okay. This editorial, it is highlighting the concerns of people suffering with SCD, sickle cell disease. So what we see that, what is the context here? The context is that in 2024 March, in March 2024, last year, in March 2024, the Indian government, it has given revised guidelines under Right to Person with Disabilities Act. Okay. So it has provided revised guidelines with respect to what? With respect to rights of person with disabilities, Act 2016. And what was the guideline? Okay. The guideline was, this guideline, it was about assessment of disability related to sickle cell anemia or sickle cell disease, and even thalassemia. So if someone is having problem of sickle cell or thalassemia or both, so how much disability is there? That was going to be assessed as per the revised guidelines. And why this is important? Why this assessment is important? What is the significance of this? Okay. The significance is this, that under this right of person with disabilities, right of persons with disabilities, there is a provision of 4% reservation. There is a 4% quota. There is a 4% quota for people with vision loss, hearing loss, locomotor disabilities, intellectual disabilities, etc. Okay. But what we see that these people who are suffering from SCD or thalassemia, they are not included. They are not included for quota. They are not included for quota. The first part is, now we see there is one part, what is sickle cell anemia. Then we see that government considers it as a disability. Government is considering this, that it causes disability, but it has not been included for purpose of giving reservation. So now this editorial, it's suggesting this one thing, that SCD, this one causes multiple challenges. This one causes multiple challenges, okay, which can be seen as disability. It is causing multiple challenges which can be seen as disability. What challenges are there? There is recurrent episodes of pain. Okay. There is recurrent, means frequent episodes of intense pain. There is frequent incidences or recurrent incidences of intense pain, fatigue, anemia, organ damage. There is also problem of fatigue, anemia, organ damage. So all these challenges, okay, even frequent hospitalization, there is also a requirement of frequent hospitalization. So all these things, if we look at this, it is going to have an impact. It is going to have an impact on study also, and it is going to have an impact on job also. So this article is suggesting that it is impacting their schooling, it is impacting their employment potential, plus there is a lot of stigma or discrimination which can also be associated with sickle cell disease. There is a stigma also, discrimination also. So this article is suggesting that till now we are having a narrow understanding of disability, that if there is something which is visible, like someone is not able to walk properly, someone is not having limbs, someone is having vision loss or hearing loss, we consider disability only when there are visible parameters of it. Okay. So this article is saying that we need to have a broader interpretation. We need to have a broader interpretation of disability instead of the narrow perception. So it says that there is a need to have broader perspective with respect to disability. Okay. That we need to have a broader perspective with respect to disability. Okay. It cannot be confined, should not be confined. It should not be confined. Should not be confined to visible parameters. Visible parameters. Okay. So that is the suggestion of this editorial, that we need to have a broader, interpretation of disability. We need to incorporate many things, not just the visible parameters. So that is what this one is saying. Okay. What are the causes? The causes are simply genetic problems. Genetic disorder. This is a genetic disorder. Means it is due to faulty gene, faulty chromosome. Yes, also reduced life expectancy. Okay. So that is one thing. Now I am giving you one mains question on this topic. Disability is a lived experience not only shaped by physical health but also by social exclusion, structural barriers and policy gaps. Comment. So I am giving you this one mains question for practice. Disability is a lived experience not only shaped by physical health but also by social exclusion, structural barriers and policy gaps. Okay. So try to write this one. I will ask you tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be asking you how many you have written. So this is one question which you all have to write. Okay. Now we are having this one thing. WHO report. Okay. So let us see what is the report saying. WHO is saying this part that more than 1 in every 100 death is due to suicide as per WHO. Okay. Like 1 out of 100 death is due to suicide. Okay. What we see that for each death there are 20 suicide attempts. Okay. So it means the number of suicide attempts are 20 times higher. We are having one out of 100 death, one is due to suicide. So there is very high incidences. Second thing what we see that suicidal death is not very frequent. If there are 20 attempts, there is one death. It means the number of suicide attempts are quite higher. At the same time, in 2021, there has been 7.72 lakh, this much lakh cases of suicides worldwide. 7.27 lakh people worldwide has died in one single year due to suicide. Okay. So this is one part, and it remains a leading cause of death among young people. Okay. So it is one of the leading cause of death among young people. Okay. In case of women, in case of girls or women, this is the second leading cause. This is the second leading cause. So what we see that it is leading to, it is the second leading cause, and in case of men, it is the third leading cause of death. Third leading cause of death. Okay. So we see that while there is a reduction in suicide rate, it's not that there has not been reduction. There has been reduction. There was a goal under the under this WHO goal. There is a goal that the goal is there 1/3 reduction. There is a goal of 1/3 reduction in suicide rates from 2015 to 30. There is a goal that we want to have 1/3 reduction in this suicide rate from 2015 to 2030. But what we see that there has been only 12%. There has been only 12% reduction. Now, one more thing. There is two parts here. What we see that near about like 75% suicides, 75% of suicides, they are there in lower income countries. They are there in lower income countries. But it is not because the suicide rate is higher. It is just because the population is like largest. Okay. Due to the population. But higher rate of suicides have been seen in developed nation. Okay. Higher rate of suicides, higher rate of suicides It has been seen in developed nations. It has been seen in developed nations. So as part of this population, if we compare this, so we see that higher rate of suicides has been common in developed nation. Okay. So that is one angle. There is another part, that while suicide rates have been declining, while suicide rates overall in the last 15, 20 years, 30 years, it has been declining. It has been slowly declining, but it is declining. But there is increase in mental disorders like anxiety and depression. Okay. So there is an increase. There is an increase in anxiety and depression. There is an increase in anxiety and depression. Okay. So this is one part. Okay. This is as per report. Now, if I ask you, can you tell me why there are so many higher incidences of suicides? What is the prime cause according to you? What is the prime cause of suicides as per you? Alcohol and drug abuse? Yes, it is one reason. So what are the breakups? There are multiple reasons. Career is there. Career is there. Social life is there. Okay. Economic pressure is there. Failures and ability to handle failures. Increasing expectations. Increase in expectations. Yes. Societal pressure. Family pressure. So what we see that it is not one type. It varies according to demography, it varies according to location, it varies according to region. Okay. So it varies as per the age group. As per the age group also there is a variation. As per the areas also there is a variation. In case of farmers, it is due to the debt. It is due to the debt. In case of students, it is the pressure of exams, it is the pressure of like career. In case of many young and even like mature people, in case of adults also, family relations, social relations, they are also the factors which are causing this. And yes, alcohol and drug abuse, okay, ignorance of the mental challenges, they are also the factors which contribute to this part. Yes, trauma also. Okay. So there are multiple pressures. Okay. Now I'm asking this one question from all of you. We are not discussing this today. I am just asking this one question. What is Onam? And what are the different unique things which are there in case of Onam? It is one of the very important festivals. It is one of the very important festivals. So I want you, like, just see this one thing. Like in Malappuram, some students have made this one video. Okay. So in that, Mahavali, okay, or Maveli is coming from helicopter. Is a high-tech Maveli coming from helicopter, and they are welcoming. So there are multiple uniqueness about Onam. So I want you all to just know a little bit about it and tell me not just this one part, that where it is celebrated, it is a harvest festival. So read something about it, what unique things are being done here. And when you look at this, you will find many interesting things. Okay. You will find many interesting things. So look at this and let me know tomorrow that what is Onam, how it is celebrated. Why it is celebrated is common thing, but how it is being celebrated? What are the different things which are done here? Okay. So let's then meet tomorrow and then we will discuss this part. So thank you everyone. Take care and let's meet tomorrow to discuss this part. Thank you. Take care and all the best. Thank you.